Hey everybody, welcome back to Blushing Nerd Tarot. So, I wanted to revisit the Wild Unknown. You may have seen the video I did the other day. The deck is, both of these decks are new to me. I have pre-ordered Alchemy, the fourth and final deck of this series. So that is released on July 5th. And I am also going to get the Archetypes deck so that I have all four. But I wanted to try this out because I still haven't used the deck. I've looked through a little bit more. I actually did a little bonding exercise with the deck yesterday while listening to some lives. I went ahead and got my Winsor & Newton Pro markers out and added a nice rainbow edging effect to the tarot deck. And I may do the same. I may do the same to the Animal Spirit deck, but I'm not sure yet. But I did just feel like I needed to jazz up because I'm still a little disappointed with the cardstock, gotta say. But this helped me out. This just kind of brought a clearer picture to me of how I can enjoy the deck, because it pulls out some of those colorful elements that we find throughout, like that spray of light there. And we have, of course, plenty of options. And I love the way the roots are the colorful part on this. Isn't that interesting? And look at the size of the roots compared to the size of the tree. We have the Six of Cups here. Very interesting. Anyway, wanted to add that little splash of color there, just to give the deck, I don't know, a little special meaning, extra meaning for me. But I really like it. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So here's what I'm thinking. I've been enjoying working with different spreads that the creators put in their books, and then trying to rethink them a little bit, or just add a splash to it with an oracle or something like that. But here's the page in the Animal Spirit Guidebook that got me thinking of how to integrate just this little diagram implying the interaction between humans and animals, our existence, somehow combining to reach divinity. Maybe we would use the term reach just because of the way the arrows are intertwined and going up. I don't know, it's kind of how I read it, but that concept combined with, from the Wild Unknown Tarot Guidebook itself, the Clarity spread, just this is sort of a very familiar spread, I think, to a lot of people, or at least the concept of a Clarity spread. Four card reading, where you have the first card referring to the overall situation, and then cards 2 through 4 are the contributing factors. So my thinking is the tarot cards go into positions 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. And then how do we integrate the animal spirit? Because I often like when the tarot cards outnumber the oracle cards, unless I'm just doing an oracle reading, which is not something I have a lot of experience with yet. But if I'm using oracle to enhance a tarot reading, it really is sort of like the final touch. It's like the garnish for me. I've heard a lot of people talk about it in terms of adding clarity if something is not quite clear to them as they're doing a reading, particularly a large reading like a Celtic Cross, where they feel like they've reached an end point with it, and there's still just something that's hanging at the end of it that isn't quite there conceptually. And so they'll use an oracle card rather to draw out some of that clarity. So that's what I'd like to do here. So a clarity spread. The situation could be any number of things. There's a lot going on in my life right now. I like the idea of something that could be broadly applicable in this case, because I'm reading in an open way. I don't like I think I've even used the term sample reading or demo, or those kind of make me itch. And I have used those terms, and the reason I don't like it is because I feel that we can read more openly, just like some folks do card pulls at the end of their videos. I really enjoy that, and I don't feel it loses any power or significance just because it happens to be generalized for folks that are watching or even watch back later. So that's what I want to capture with readings like this, that it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to lose anything just because it isn't for a specific querent or sitter and their one specific question. So in this case, for clarity, I think I'd like to explore what we can do to increase kindness and acceptance in our own community as the tarot community, or broader than that, in the little things. When we go to the store, we go to the gas station, or we're just heading out to the shops to pick a few things up. There are just so many little opportunities to put kindness out there, or acceptance. And I'd like to get some clarity on how we might increase our willingness and ability to act on that. So, a reminder, card 1 is the overall situation, 2 through 4 are the contributing factors. We're starting with the tarot, and we will add to that some cards from the animal spirit. So the overall situation, we have sevens, 7 of swords, and sevens can be experience, and I'd like to bring in Kim Kranz's words here for how she would like us to think about that card. keywords of secrecy and self-interest. 6 swords hang in plain view, while the 7th is tucked under the sly fox's tail. So goes the story of the 7 swords. The secret is being kept. You're either the keeper or the kept from, and it's time to identify which. Deceit and avoidance linger in the air. Face the cause of secrecy or risk ostracizing yourself. So that secrecy absolutely could be the fact that our internal self-interest oftentimes, and it's not always harmful, I mean, you need to have some self-interest. But when we're talking about things like openness and kindness and being more accepting of others, this is precisely the thing that often gets in the way of that. Because if we're left in a position where we need to feel defensive for our safety, for our health, for many other things, if we are left in that position for too long, we could end up like this fox, maybe taking that self-interest to an extreme. Maybe not. Maybe it's more about the fact that we just need to recognize what's happening. That sometimes we're putting up a guard and we're lacking a kindness or an acceptance for some false sense of safety, when actually we're overreacting, perhaps. So, if we look to the other positions then, contributing factors for clarity on being kind and opening up, being more accepting, we just go to the middle. We already have that spectrum there. Spectrum is something I've been thinking about a lot, and it actually started while I was doing the edging on this deck. I was thinking about the colors and how it doesn't want to focus for me all of a sudden. There we go. So I was thinking about the colors and how we could apply this spectral beauty to our way of seeing each other. And it's a widely used symbol. It's the idea of a spectrum. I have someone very close to me who is on the autism spectrum, so the idea of a spectrum is really close to my heart. And thinking about how that concept of the breaking up of light into all these individual components shows us that there's a cohesiveness to what can appear to be a single thing. It's really an infinite array that has been concentrated into a single being. And that's humanity in my mind. Humanity is an infinite array that has been concentrated into a single beam. So we tend to judge everything based on that single beam, whatever our view of that single beam is, which tends to disregard a beautiful array of variation. Anyway, I digress. So we have the Daughter of Cups as one of our contributing factors. And the emotional newness can be pretty magical. So contributing factors for our ability to grow in this situation, for kindness, for acceptance of others. Creative, emotional, creative energy abounds from the Daughter of Cups. She's romantic, artistic, easily inspired by her surroundings. A true dreamer by nature, she struggles to stay grounded or to deal with any harsh realities that come her way. Conflict of any kind is very disturbing to this gentle creature. So we can certainly see that being the case for trying to increase our kindness and acceptance of others. Dealing with any harsh realities that come her way, conflict being sort of a frightening thing. That could be that point that makes us pull back into our shell and get defensive again, and choose to not be accepting, not be kind, just because of that safety factor that I was talking about before. So we should instead embrace the other side of that innocent approach, the artistic, the creative energy of that Page of Cups, and think about how we can break out of those defensive bindings. So, next up, let's go to the left. Let's go to the Ten of Pentacles. So completion comes to mind for tens. And maybe having that sense of completeness, giving you the groundedness to then extend kindness to others, because we do need to feel a certain stability that comes with that completeness to be able to extend our best selves to others. Let's see what the author has to say. Fulfillment, abundance. The Ten of Pentacles signifies material and spiritual abundance in nearly every area of your life. The number 10 usually indicates completion, and in this case, the journey was well worth it. So be generous, not only with your money, but also with your wisdom. Provide guidance to those who struggle. You will be rewarded tenfold. So exactly that. We need, if you find yourself in that position, you find yourself having that completeness, oftentimes that naturally transitions into generosity, I think. I think a lot of people, when they feel they're humbled by their station in life. So if they're content with a lot of things, and that doesn't mean that everything's perfect. Happiness is a relative thing, and it's a scale. It's two is a spectrum, and it comes and goes, and that's part of life, and it's healthy, really, to have those fluctuations, so you can have proper appreciation for things. But I think when you reach that point where you have that contentedness, you're humbled by your station, and you tend to extend your goodwill to others. And then we go straight to the other side of the scale for Pentacles, to the Ace. So this could be maybe this is a new concept, maybe it's a new start. Perhaps the contributing factor here is just that you find yourself in this position tends to be the thing that is holding you back from really being kinder or more generous or more accepting. in a broader way. And it's difficult too, and that's part of this. That there is a real. It's not that you're just going to go out and suddenly start being openly kind to everyone, universally so, without having any guard up or anything. It's difficult. It takes practice. It's something that, just like any other attitude change, really needs to be rehearsed. It's not, you can't flip a switch and have it happen, nor should you. It probably wouldn't be very genuine in those cases. So to have the Daughter of Cups, the Page here, for the emotions, perhaps a little fragility in that, but a positive fragility. That's how I'm thinking. And then we have the attainment, the completion, getting to that point where you feel you have all of your ducks in a row. You feel like you're able to then turn around and contribute in new ways. And then we have those new ways with the Ace here. Let's see what the author has to say. Prosperous beginnings. In the center of even the giant redwood trees, a tiny seedling once stood. Such is the energy of the Ace of Pentacles. It's the seed that takes root, grounding you for the future. You're in the beginning phases of a prosperous venture. Stay grounded. Go outside and take some time to appreciate nature. You may also find a windfall of wealth headed your way. So, take this opportunity then, on this new venture, to do small things, because those small things can turn out to be extremely meaningful for others in ways that we may never even find out. But it's important. It's very important. Those little things you do, the little interactions, can really have a major impact on people's lives. So to approach those with a genuine kindness is probably the best thing that we can do for each other. So let's try to spice it up here a little bit with a couple of cards from the Animal Spirit. And I think I'm drawn to a couple different approaches here. That I think maybe, we could look at this a couple different ways. We have some open spaces up here, which almost beg for a card placement, which could then tell us something more about the current situation or enhance that view somehow. Or if we really take that integration into mind, that helix that was illustrated by the author with divinity in mind, so humans, animals, and divinity. If we think about that, I'm tempted to actually do something like this. Kind of spread these out a little bit here. I swear, at some point, I'm going to have an overhead view that I can switch to, because I think that'll help in situations like this. I don't have to cut off some cards. Because even if I put them out here, even if I move my candle and crystal and rock assembly forward, you wouldn't be able to see the cards anyway. So I'm going to switch to an overhead at some point so we can have a little better viewing situation. So here's what I'd like to do. I think to keep that intertwining message in mind, I'd like to have a card here and here to draw those influences together, and then one there. So thinking about how can we bring more kindness more openness, less judgment into our world. Well, if nothing else, they certainly look beautiful together, don't they? I really like that. So let's have a look here at what the author has to say about, let's start with the starfish. Maybe this would be the connection between the situation and all of those underlying factors, things that we can do, some actions we can take to make a difference. So what would connect us? I think about that. What would connect our situation to all of those things that we could do to act? And I see, just if I just take this at face value, what the picture has to say here. I see the arms outstretched with these beautiful gold patterns. And each of these could represent a different path to take, or arms outstretched, because open arms is analogous to accepting and giving and all of the things that we really want to focus on here. So that's my take. Let's see what the author says. Beautiful, alluring, superficial, or shallow. Starfish is a natural and exquisite beauty, mesmerizing to all. Being around someone with starfish energy is a thrill, like you've been put under a spell of divinity itself. The problem is these creatures have been reliant on how they look and what other people think of them for so long that they may have forgotten their deeper callings. When this card appears, it's important to ask, am I being swayed by outward appearances? What dreams have I put aside to please others? When in balance, uplifting, artistic, expressive. When out of balance, gossips, feels empty. To bring into balance, positive friends. So here's how I'm reading that then, if that's the intent of this card. Those outward appearances, that's a word of caution to me. So our approach needs to be more than skin deep. If we're going to go out and truly be kind in this world and be accepting of others, we need to do it from the heart. It's not about maybe what stickers you have on your car, or maybe a cause that you donate to occasionally for the feels or something. That kindness that's really going to make a difference is the one that's more than skin deep. It needs to be genuine. So with our influences here, curious what the lion has to say. Patient, regal, a complete master. The lion is a master of the fire element, a living mascot of the self-transformation. A lion personality dedicates their life to personal and spiritual growth. This dedication inspires some and intimidates others. Therefore, the lion is respected by all, but known intimately by few. Some mistake the lion as hard to access or aloof, yet those with a keener eye know better. Lions are observant, stealth, and precise in their words and actions. They do not waste energy or resources. This card reminds us that self-mastery is available to all, no matter where our quest begins. So, not wasting energy or resources, self-mastery is available to all. self-mastery is available to all. So could be a nice integration there between our 10, our completion, and our page. Let's check the dragonfly. Master of light, illusion, and the mind. The dragonfly is an ancient and ethereal creature that awakens a sense of wonder in all. The dragonfly is a symbol of the mind, as it is always moving, shifting, shimmering, and changing. When the dragonfly card appears, it's worth considering the quality of your mind and perception. Are they restless or still? Dreamlike or crystal clear? The situation at hand may be different than it appears at first glance. The dragonfly reminds us to calm the mind so the light of wisdom can shine through. So, taking that calm approach in our new venture to open up and be kind. Seems like a nice way to enhance the reading by adding these in. I'd like to experiment a little bit more too with this combination of decks. It's going to require quite a bit more work, I think, before I start to feel that connection. But I'm excited to do that. So leave your thoughts, comments below. If you have any ideas on how to take this sort of spread and make little tweaks to it to incorporate some of these other decks. But really, the key thing is, I think, this is a beautiful way to look at how we can extend our kindness to the world and just be better people, better contributors to that spectrum. Having that broader awareness, that understanding, we kind of unlock that door that we all hide behind that keeps us safe, keeps our vision keyed into that unified light, because we think that's the best way to view things, when really it's richer, it's a greater experience if you acknowledge the spectrum and truly engage with it. So, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.